Hello YouTube. I'd like to conclude African American History Month on a little something on the Buffalo Soldiers. They were a team and unit of black African American soldiers that fought in the West and the Southwest in the 1800s. When I was a child in school, one of my favorite classes was history or social studies. I loved to hear about the past and how it shaped the future. I remember how the teacher would lecture on how the great nation was formed. When we would get to the subject on how the West was won, it would be mainly how people of European descent conquered the West, how they fought and struggled and built this great nation. But not too much talk was on the people of color who helped shape this nation. Right after the Civil War, many soldiers, black former slaves who fought the Civil War, they went west. They helped settle that part of the country, building army forts, fighting in Indian wars, and protecting the early settlers. There was 2 regiments, the 9th and 10th Cavalries. They formed right after Congress passed legislation in 1866 allowing African Americans to enlist at what was called then the country's regular peacetime military. This legislation brought about the creation of the 24th and the 25th Infantry Regiments, who fought alongside the 9th and 10th Cavalries. Many of them were commanded by white officers. Over 180,000 African Americans served in the Union Army during the Civil War. Right after the war, many went west. For more than 2 decades in the late 19th century, these brave men fought in military wars, or what was called the Indian Wars, against hostile Native American Indians on the plains and the Southwest. These African American soldiers helped protect the early settlers moving out west. They captured horse thieves, cattle rustlers. They built the roads and protected the U.S. mail. Because of their bravery in battle and because of their hair texture, the Native Americans, particularly the Comanche, gave them the moniker Buffalo Soldier. Now this was out of respect, out of the soldiers' toughness and bravery in battle. The soldiers liked the name, and the 10th Cavalry used a figure of a buffalo in its coat of arms. When the Indian Wars ended in the 1890s, the Buffalo Soldiers went to fight in Cuba in 1898 to fight in the Spanish-American War. They also fought under General Black Jack John J. Pershing in 1916 to 1970. He was given that name Black Jack because he had an all-black unit. They were hunting for revolutionary leader Pancho Villa. The soldiers also acted as rangers in the national parks like Yosemite and Socorro National Parks. In 1948, then President Harry Truman issued an executive order eliminating racial segregation and discrimination in the armed forces. The last all-black units were disbanded during the first half of the 1950s. The oldest living Buffalo soldier, Mark Matthews, died at the age of 111 in Washington, D.C. in 2005. These brave men truly helped build and shape the West and need to be remembered because this is America's history. Like I said, there's been so many contributions we have done for this nation, building this nation, not only on our physical muscle, but our minds, our intellects. And if it wasn't for African Americans, this nation wouldn't be as great as it is today. By the way, African American History Month began in 1926. Carter G. Woodson, a great scholar, historian, and just great educator, he spearheaded this movement, and it came about. Then it was called Negro History Week. Like I said, it was 1926. In 1976, it finally became African American History Month. It was a long struggle for this to happen. But because of all of this, so many people are learning about the history that we contributed to this nation, to making it as great as it is today. And I want to thank everyone who's been listening to these reports that I've been putting together. I appreciate it greatly. Until next time, I want to thank you, and I'll talk to you and see you then. Take care, and God bless. Goodbye now.